him not being in the UFC during his prime is one of the great tragedies of MMA. I really, really feel that. I would have loved to have seen the Fedor that fought Crow Cop fight in the UFC, and I think he would have been heavyweight champion. I really do. I think the only argument against him being the greatest of all time, in my opinion, is Cain Velasquez. And I guess you could kind of make it for Verdum, but I think Verdum that got knocked out by Stipe was a healthy Verdum. He just got emotional and crazy, and he charged after Stipe, and Stipe's that fucking good.
Yeah, he is.
He's really good. I mean, Stipe's a bad motherfucker. No doubt about it. He's a deserving world champion. But, man, I would have loved to have seen Primetime Cain versus Primetime Fedor.
Sure. I'd love to see it, too. And I maintain that Cain is the most intimidating figure in the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
That even though he's jerking the curtain on Saturday night for the biggest card ever, he is the most intimidating guy. In the back,
what does that mean, jerking the curtain?
Jerking the curtain is the guy that starts the show. You got to pull the curtain out of the way to start the show.
Because he started it on Saturday night?
Because he started it on Saturday night, right? You got the former heavyweight champion who's headlined cards and had bills with his name on the top of him. Now all of a sudden he's jerking the curtain at the start of the show.
But that's just because it's UFC 200.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was the biggest card there was. And
what a performance he had, though.
Great performance. Travis Brown is nobody's fool.
No.
Travis Brown's ranked number 4 in the world, was ranked number 3, and he should be.
Travis caught him clean with a straight right hand in that first round.
One of the few guys to beat Josh Barnett. And Travis is a good heavyweight. He needs to be a basketball player. So you talk about Stipe a minute ago. Stipe's a good athlete, and we don't have a ton of them. Some of the great athletes that are that size, they go into some other professions. You don't usually get them in this one. Stipe's a good-looking heavyweight. He moves well. He works hard. He's got the wrestling background. Played baseball. He's just a good guy, man.
Yeah, he really
is. Cool
is.
Guy.
What Cain brings to the table is some freak cardio and perfect technique. I mean, he's so unusual in his cardio.
What about that wheel kick?
Yeah, incredible.
That's
crazy.
Of them.
Threw 2 of them.
Why was he even trying that?
They
Who
were
taught
good.
him that? Javier pulled him aside and goes, "Hey, Cain, we got to start working on wheel kicks."
I don't know what it was.
It was insane.
But they were good.
It was beautiful.
There was nothing wrong with them. I mean, some guy, like when Weidman threw that wheel kick against Rockhold, you're like, whoa, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
And then he gets taken down and beaten up.
Chris, why?
Yeah, and it wasn't a good wheel kick. It was a goofy wheel kick. Yeah, it just didn't look right. But when you saw Cain throw it, you're like, oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
But that's how he executes punches, kicks, takedowns. Everything is perfect. There's no wind up. Nothing has like extra horsepower behind it. Everything's precise. He's one of my favorite all-time guys to watch because of that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then to your point on Verdum, so Verdum beats Fedor, who might be the great. So you say you don't know who the greatest ever was. Was it Fedor or was it Cain?
And the truth is,
Verdum beat them both. Yeah. But Verdum doesn't end up in the conversation. It's one of those weird things.
He does. I think he does. But, because you got to think the prime Verdum who beat Fedor, the prime Verdum that beat Cain, could probably have beaten those guys no matter what. It's very possible he could have beaten those guys no matter what. So I think he does go into the conversation. It's just the history that Cain had and the history that Fedor had. I mean, Cain's insane wars and the way he broke down Junior Dos Santos. He gets knocked out in the first fight, and then the next 2 fights just puts a fucking hellacious beating on him.
Right.
I think, boy, it's the MMA math sucks.
Sure.
I mean, it's real hard to say this guy beat that guy, so he's number 1, and that guy beat this guy, so. And
when you talk about it, one of the elements that comes in isn't the guy's wins and losses and his skills. It's also an intimidation factor.
Right.
What kind of intimidation do you have? Well, Verdum's, he makes the Joker face, and he's always teasing around. So he gets overlooked, but I don't think that's fair. The same thing's happening to Bisping. Weidman comes out. He says Bisping's the most undeserving person of all time to end up in a title spot.